being recorded. This meeting is being recorded, and that sounds serious.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I have my mug with my tea.
Oh, it's so pretty.
What you guys got?
I got my mug, my
Ooh.
baby Yoda mug. Woo woo. So normally on our show on Saturday mornings, I'm drinking coffee, but tonight it's water.
I'm a Diet Coke guy. I don't drink coffee or tea or alcohol. My only vice is a little bit of caffeine and caramel colored water.
All right. Hey, I can be down with the caramel colored water. So Johnny just wanted to be different. He wanted to have the bottle.
He didn't read the outline.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't do his homework. He's totally unprepared. You've ruined the show. And now we have to go. Goodbye, everyone. No. Oh, Johnny and Dee of Back of the Cereal Box podcast. I hope I just got that right. How are you? Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your podcast, because you guys have a really fun concept you guys are doing, and you guys go live really early in the morning. So, before I would catch it.
So, Dee, do you want to take this one, or are you going to make me do it?
I'm going to make you do it. It's your baby.
Shocking. So we are called Back of the Cereal Box. And the concept actually came about when I was suffering from and recovering from having COVID in 2020. And it was really a way for me to combine everything I love and be the most authentic me possible. And when I thought of this, the first thing I thought was, if I'm going to be the most authentic me possible, I've got to have the best co-host I've ever had in my 40-year career. I've got to call Dee Bartee. So the show is called Back of the Cereal Box, and it is a celebration of the fun of the Saturday mornings of our youth while surviving adulthood today. I am of a generation that did not have iPhones or iPads at the breakfast table on Saturday mornings. We were watching cartoons and reading comics and kung fu movies and kaiju Godzilla movies, playing board games, listening to the records that were printed on the back of the cereal box, and really everything on the back of the cereal box. We're reading the back of the cereal box in between those things, and that was the world for us. And so that's what our show is. It's a celebration of those things. And I'm an Avengers and Star Wars freakosaurus. Star Wars movies and Avengers comic books made me who I am today. So that's where I'm coming from. And I love breakfast cereal. And so this was just a natural fit for me. And Dee Bartee, she is not a Star Wars or comic book fan, and she does not like breakfast cereal at all and completely rejects the entire theme of the show. But it makes for good podcasting because our audience likes Dee a lot, and she asks the questions that they might be thinking.
Yeah, there's not a lot I'm not afraid to say.
That's important.
Yeah.
Is this your first podcast, Dee, that you've been on?
Actual podcast.
No.
No.
Because
no.
Well, so Dee and I have been broadcast partners for 10 years, and we've done 3 previous shows together. But then back then they didn't call video casts podcasts. Today, the definition has been refined to include any on-demand broadcast media, anything that you download onto a mobile device, whether it's video or audio, or who knows what the next iteration is going to be, is considered a podcast. So in that regard, Dee, we have been podcasting together for 10 years.
Oh, before podcasting was a thing, we've been podcasting.
Well, no.
Podcasting.
We're vintage podcasters.
Well, Sarah, I have been podcasting myself since 2005.
All right.
So when Dee and I met, I was actually on my third podcast show. And so that's kind of the deal.
Well, how'd you get started in that? What made you go down that avenue?
So I got started in 2005. And back in those days, it was the Wild West. I was one of the first 300 podcasts on Apple iTunes store. And back in those days, you downloaded each episode for 99 cents. You had to pay for each episode. Now, I had written a book called Theatrical Magic, and it was for magicians. I'm a champion magician, teaching them how to create characters and write scripts to transform tricks into theater. And it was an industry bestseller, but I was getting all of these emails. I was just getting bombarded with emails asking me to expand on some of the principles that I was teaching in the book, asking me, well, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And you talk about this, but can you expand further? And so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And my friend, Jason Swank of Rebel Force Radio, said, maybe you should do a podcast. And he was already one of the top podcasters in the world at the time. And so I did. And I went chapter by chapter of the book and launched it with 3,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And topped out at over 5,000 subscribers before, and vintage podcasters will remember this day, when John Lovitz had a podcast, and he became the king of podcasts back in those days. He convinced Apple to change their model and to move away from the subscription base and make it free, and to allow creators to monetize, force creators to monetize with sponsors and advertising. So, I was making $5,000 an episode at the beginning. And then that all went away.
Wow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, money. That happens a lot.
It can.
You see money just fly away.
Yes.
Yeah, that happened today. That happened today when I went to Target.
Well, Dee, how did you get into podcasting? How did you meet him? How did you guys meet?
I found her number on a bathroom wall and called it.
Stop it. You did not. I had auditioned to be on a comic book show that John happened to be on with another host, and that's how we met. And we just kind of clicked, and that show ended, and we created another one, and that show ended. We created another one. And here we are.
Wow.
And that third one ended too. And then, we created Back of the Cereal Box. And so fourth time, I think, has been a charm. Well, actually, let's back up. So the first two, they were actually produced by another company.
Right.
Right. We were hosted on their website, and so they were paying all the bills and footing it and whatnot. And there still wasn't much money for us, if any at all. And then the third show that we did together was a board game review show, which was sponsored by a national retail chain. And for, I think, 27 episodes, we got together on Wednesday nights and we reviewed board games together. And that was a lot of fun.
So much fun.
I want to do that.
It was
That's
so much fun.
Well, look, so the whole plan with Back of the Cereal Box was to continue that. And on our YouTube channel, I repurposed those episodes as Back of the Cereal Box board game reviews, and we're going to do more of it. But over the last 2 years, it's been hard to be in person.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the reasons why we're at 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings is not just to play into the theme, because we could record ahead of time and just play it at 8 in the morning or 7 or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, when I was in the hospital with COVID, it forced me to restructure some priorities. And I decided that, the weekends, I wasn't going to be as performing as much, because I had been performing 4 and 5 days a week as a professional magician, actor, singer, storyteller. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think I want to do that. I think I want to spend more time with friends and family. And so at 8 in the morning, we can get up, and the rest of my family's still asleep. I get up, do the show. They get up around 9 o'clock, and we head to breakfast and spend the rest of the day together. So, but now things are starting to open up. We're getting asked to come do live events more and more. And so D, maybe, I just had a thought. Maybe that's part of what we do at these live events. We'll do the board game reviews in front of a live audience.
I like it.
Ooh, all right. Well, tell me about some of the events that you guys have been to. I met you guys at the mini Comic-Con that we had here at the Fairview Arts Council.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It really was. And I've seen that you guys have been to some really interesting events on your YouTube videos. So tell me about some of your favorite ones.
So my favorite event of the year is Superman Celebration in Metropolis, Illinois. Now, last year was kind of a rough year, but this year it's going to be pretty huge with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville as special guests. And so I'm pretty excited about that. That event, it's like a street festival, but with comic books. And it's a lot of fun. Comic books and cosplay mixed with a street festival and food vendors and all that. The entire town of Metropolis, which has no stoplights on the entire strip, shuts down the street, and it becomes this big 3-day street festival celebrating Superman. It's pretty awesome. Dee and I make a great team because Dee is literally fearless. She'll go talk to anybody on the convention floor. And part of that is because she doesn't know who any of them are. But it works to her advantage because it doesn't make her intimidated or, shy away from them. She's just like, I don't know who this big superstar Emmy Award winning actor is. Let's go talk to him.
And then Dean Cain walks up, and it's a whole different.
Oh yeah, totally different story.
How do you guys choose the content for your podcast? Like who you're going to have on, what your theme's going to be each day?
Dee, you want to tell her?
I don't know. Unless
she just shows up at 8 a.m. with coffee and does her best to keep you in line, Johnny.
That's pretty much the truth.
And I call him, like, when are we gonna have my friend Sarah on? And that's about it.
I send out an outline of what we're going to cover on the show a couple of days ahead of time. Dee never reads it and completely ignores it.
Not true.
It's mostly true. Mostly true.
I skim it.
If you see it. No, you know what? So Sarah, I choose topics based on who's going to be a guest. We're all about celebrating the fun of the Saturday mornings of our youth. So we're going to eat cereal live on air. So I'm not joking about that. So sometimes it's a taste test. We'll try something brand new, or I will, or Sean, one of the other co-hosts, will try something new and give our opinion of it. we'll sometimes, and more often than not, we'll show off cool stuff that we got during the week. For me, I'm a toy collector, so I'll show off the new action figure that I got from our sponsor, Hitchhiker Toys in White House, Tennessee. Check them out at hitchhikertoys.com. So we do, because that was the thing, right, Sarah? When we were eating the cereal, we would reach into the cereal box and pull out the prize. So, we're eating cereal, we're showing off the prizes, the new loot, and then we'll talk about a classic or vintage cartoon, or that's some of Dee's new loot that she'll be showing off this Saturday morning.
Yay.
And then we'll talk about a vintage cartoon, or maybe do a movie matinee mini bites, or we'll play a game together, do trivia. It just kind of depends show to show. We have a couple of tent post segments, and then there's a lot of swirling and a lot of going off the rails.
All right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and what makes it special, Sarah, is that our audience, it gets to interact with us through the chat. And so we're responding to them as well. And they're, posting comments, and they get to be a part of the show. And that sometimes takes us down some side streets. And that's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. That's great. So it's just like Saturday morning as a kid.
Yes.
So
yes.
This is going to, like, when I come on your show, it's going to be like nostalgia. It's going to be like a trip back to my childhood.
Yes. In a lot of ways.
Excited.
With the biggest kids you've ever met in your life that are that are still your age.
I want to wear like jammies on the show,
I do.
We do.
Oh,
yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
That's like Saturday morning jammies, cartoons. Let me ask you guys this. Did you guys ever have a channel, like a local channel, public television channel or anything where you guys lived growing up that had like monster movies on Saturday afternoons? Okay.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite memories. We used to watch mummy movies.
Well, okay. So now I know what we're going to talk about when you're on the show.
All right.
Your favorite
That's how
Saturday
things are created.
Yeah, your favorite Saturday matinee monster movie. And for me, the Saturday afternoon host was a guy named Superhost on WUAB channel 43 in Cleveland, Ohio. And that's what we'll talk about when you're on the show, Sarah.
Gruesome's Movie Morgue. And there are still clips of that on YouTube. I showed my 9-year-old recently, and he was just obsessed with it. So it's great.
John Sarah's a big horror buff. So.
Oh, well, you would love the Ice Cream Queens.
Yeah, totally.
It's the spin-off show on our network.
This is Friedrich. He's the resident here at the Fairview Arts Council.
I couldn't remember his name.
And I use him on my show, so. Well, let's talk about you guys as co-hosts and your banter and your chemistry together. Do you guys ever disagree? Is it all,
all the time,
rainbows and
we never disagree. What are you talking about, Bartee? We get along all the time. No, okay, so we do disagree, but we always do get along.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
What's your biggest disagreement?
Getting up at 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And eating cereal.
What was your craziest show moment that you've ever had on the show?
Okay. Craziest show moment.
Craziest show moment.
This is probably going to be very different for the two of us. I don't know that it's any one moment, but it's a series of them where we booked some guests to be on the show that on paper looked like they were going to be rock stars. And then they get on the show and they just bombed. And one of them, she was just like, I asked our guests to, when they come on the show, you're getting a tutorial here, Sarah.
All right. I need to take notes.
Tell everyone who you are, what you do. I used to ask, tell everyone who you are, what you do, and how you got wrangled into being on the show at 8:00 in the morning. And I asked that question. She goes, I don't know. You asked me, and I said yes. I was like, this is not going to go well. And she's a singer, actress, a dancer, and she's got these videos on her website that are full of energy and life and fun, and she brought none of that. And she kind of talked about the toxic drama going. She basically says, well, I've retired from dancing because it's such a toxic environment. And then she unpacks her drama on my cereal table, and I'm just like, oh no.
And all of that is
cereal.
So this is live. I mean, it's not something that's recorded. It's not something that we can cut. I mean, it's live. We also had a guest that stole my thunder on a Superman review show.
Oh no.
I don't know. Can you talk about that, John?
Remind me of that. What happened? I think I remember.
He just started getting political and going down a rabbit hole.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
No. And you kept trying to steer him back. And I mean, he just kept going and going and going.
Yes. So one of the promises, one of the things that I dedicated the show to being, Sarah, was 100% non-toxic and the only podcast fortified with 8 essential vitamins and minerals. But my whole goal was, there are a lot of people out in the geek culture community doing what we do, just basic pop culture review shows and discussion shows. But a lot of them, the majority of them, are just filled with this toxic masculinity. They're 6 guys and they're talking about how awful Captain Marvel is or how awful Star Wars has become because Rey is the focus of this show. And look how she emasculated Luke Skywalker and blah, blah, blah. And it's horrible. And so early on, I was like, I'm not going to be like that. Our show is going to be positive, upbeat. We're not going to be talking about things that we don't like because that's not how you win. In the words of Rose Tico from The Last Jedi, we win not by destroying what we hate, but by saving what we love. So that's the whole thing is to be positive and to have fun. And so we don't talk about the stuff that we don't like. If we don't like it, we'll just say, you know what, that wasn't for me. Let's talk about this instead. And so this one guest that Dee's talking about.
Or we say, I can appreciate the art. It just wasn't something that I enjoyed. But, I mean, we don't like, it sucks. Like, we just don't believe in, like, I don't know what the word for it is, but bashing people, bashing things.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. And this one guest, I even did a prelim interview with him just to get a feeling for him. And it comes out on air live in front of the audience that he is a supporter of Comicsgate. Now, if you don't know what that is, Comicsgate is this subset of the geek culture community that is very misogynistic, toxic misogyny. And, I was just like, my face, Dee knew it. I was like, because I was thinking, how in the world do I turn this ship around?
Yeah.
And Yeah.
He's like, let's talk about Superman because it was the premiere of the new TV show. As to which I got all dressed up for and like got up early, did my hair, my makeup. I was so excited to talk about this. And then like I got to talk about the last 5 minutes of the show because he just went on and on and on and on.
Oh.
And I was going, John, why?
Well, and that's the other thing. So we've had a couple of moments where, guests, it's funny because you're asking us a lot of questions about our podcast, but normally when I'm on another show, I don't talk that much about my projects, right? I might mention, I've got a book here, I've got podcasts here, whatever, but that's not normally why I'm going on a show. And some of our guests have thought that they are coming on to do an hour-long pitch for their latest book, their latest project, their new art. And yes, we give everyone some time at the end of the show to, say who you are, what you do, where can we find you, let's show off some of your work or some of your music and whatnot. But that's not why they're there. And so we've had a couple of guests who have tried to, either they weren't reading the room or they just thought, this is what you do. You sit down on the couch and you just vomit it all out.
Yeah, remember that, Sarah.
All right. I'll bring my vomit for you.
I think that's a clip right there.
Is there a favorite guest?
Yes. There are a couple actually. And my favorite became one of our co-hosts, Ivy Roman. She just, every time she was on, she brought fun and fire, and she was just great. And finally I just said, Ivy, we just need you to be on the show every week. She's like, okay. She's just really great. She's super positive and we love her to death. And then the other one, we've had a couple of co-hosts that started as guests, and then we liked them so much that they stuck around. Sean Connors.
I was gonna say Sean was a guest. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean is great. And when he's not tied up doing dad duties, he is a co-host. And Drew Milden from Drew versus the World podcast is really fun. And another girl named Dina Bakowitz was a lot of fun. It's not just, us getting up on Saturday morning and being silly. There might be someone out watching us that needs whatever it is we're giving them. Maybe that 1 hour of escape from the real world and the problems that they're encountering. If we can just give them that fun escape for 1 hour, then our job is done.
Tell me what your best advice would be from both of you for other podcasters and content creators, people that are just starting out, or anybody that's been doing it for a while.
So that's a great question. And I have tons of advice. But my main piece of advice would be have passion and enthusiasm. Do what you're passionate about.
You stole mine.
No, I didn't. I echoed it.
I was going to say that you echoed it out of my brain.
Yeah. See, that's how we work.
I
can't ever let him go first. He steals my answer every time.
Dang it, Johnny.
Well,
she this can is what I do on our show, by the way. I'm totally messing with my hair all the time. Well, on our show.
But see, Sarah can cut this and put you before me. So what advice would you give someone new doing this, Steve?
No, it's too late now. You go. You go.
No, you go. You go. I want you to go.
I mean, that's pretty much would be my advice. Just talk about something that you're passionate about and about, be positive. Don't be hateful. Don't be demeaning. Don't, it's not helpful. It might sell in the media, but it's not helpful.
But then you're just continuing a bigger problem. you know?
Right.
So,
Well, and I've had consultants, Sarah, come to me and say, "Hey, your show is really good, but you know what you really need? You need conflict." And I'm like, "No, that's what
There's
we're
plenty
trying
of
to avoid."
conflict with
Yeah.
me having to get up early.
I'll
But
bring some conflict Saturday.
okay, that'll be awesome. But like Dee said, be passionate, be enthusiastic, and show up. Just show up with the best version of yourself, because you got to remember that there's someone out there that needs to hear your voice. They need to see your face. They need to hear your message, whatever form that takes. Someone is out there waiting to hear from you. And what you have to say, what you have to create, could literally change their life.
Tell me about life outside of podcasting, because you guys don't just do this nonstop. You guys have some hobbies or, things that you enjoy doing for fun.
Oh, this is Dee's favorite question. Go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, Dee, bring it on.
Well, I have 5 kids. Go, John.
I got 5
That's your
kids.
hobby? Your
That's what
hobby
he
is
said.
having 5 kids?
Yeah, that's anytime I mention having 5 kids, that's what he does. I got 5 kids. So yeah, I mean, that kind of is my hobby. My job is I'm a professional photographer, so I stay extremely busy with that, which I love. I absolutely love it. It's another form of art. And my passion.
And you're really good at it.
Oh, thank you.
Book your session with Dee Bartee Photo today.
Oh, he just did a commercial for you.
I know.
He had a jingle to go with that.
Yeah. My super passion super passion, is that a thing? I don't know. Is acting.
You wear a cape, it's a super passion.
It's a super super actress. Which is one reason why I love doing this podcast, because I'm not really acting. I mean, I'm pretty much myself, but I'm still able to get out that desire. Does that make sense? I'm an entertainer, so I like to entertain people, and I wish it wasn't at 8:00 in the morning, but the live shows make up for that.
I've been a professional.
I've got 2 kids.
Just 2? Not 10?
This is what I do. I am a multidisciplined storyologist. I'm an actor, singer, magician, an author, comic book artist, podcaster, and Harley Quinn cosplayer. I tell stories.
And all.
Yeah. I entertain the world one audience at a time, one story at a time. And sometimes I get paid pretty good to do it.
The money just flew back in. It flew out earlier.
That's why he went to Target.
Yeah.
Well, so telling stories is universal, and it crosses over into a lot of other fields. So, as a communicator, I work with a ghost tour company in Nashville, doing paranormal stories and tours. And I work with a small boutique insurance agency as a communications director. And, so yeah, if it involves communication and presenting and speaking and, telling some kind of story, that's what I do.
All right.
And then I laugh.
And then you laugh, yes. Well, if you could have anybody on your show, who would your dream guest be?
So, that's a hard
Anybody.
question for me.
I mean,
Well,
anybody.
Yeah, because my dream guests aren't alive anymore.
Well, we can bring them back from the dead.
Yeah, I mean,
I would love to have my dream guest would absolutely Oh, that's a little controversial right now. Johnny Depp.
Oh,
Well, I
okay.
love Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is one of my heroes. And Dee knows when I dress up, there's a lot of Johnny Depp style in my personal style. If someone were making a movie about my life, I'd want him to play me. But no, I would love to have had Harry Anderson on the show. He's a magician actor. He was on Night Court. He was Judge Harry Stone on Night Court.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
I love him.
Me too.
yeah,
Wow.
I did too. He was a huge influence on my career. And I wrote a chapter in my book, Theatrical Magic, about him. And when I finally met him in person, he said to me, "Hey, you wrote that book about me." No, it wasn't a whole book. It was just one chapter. But yes. And he goes, "I got it." And I'm like, "You do?" He said, "Yeah." And he reaches over into his briefcase and pulls it out and says, he literally had it with him. And he said, "I need you to sign it for me." So I gave my autograph to one of my idols. So he would have been awesome to be able to have as a guest. Robin Williams.
Oh, I met him once. Amazing person. Magical.
But out of anyone living, and I would only do this if I could actually be in the room with him, would be Dwayne Johnson, The Rock.
Oh my gosh, yes. I would have to be there too.
I was gonna say, hold D back. This could be a possible restraining order again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
No, he'll put a
touching me,
restraining order out against me because I do have a man crush on The Rock. He is the pinnacle of human perfection. Dee and I, between us, we've interviewed quite a few celebrities. And the
half
one
of
that
which I did not know who they were.
and I've had some that, like Dee, treated me like absolute garbage. They had egos as big as the state of Texas, and those interviews never made it to air.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of like, why would you do that during an interview? I don't understand that, because first of all, it makes you look like a jerk. I mean, I would not be a fan of somebody if I saw that they treated the interviewer like poop. Like, I would be like, I don't think I want to watch your movies anymore. But the second part of that is, don't you want to, like, get the publicity out there about yourself? Don't you want to talk about yourself, or what's the word I'm looking for? Advertise yourself, sell yourself,
Promote yourself. Yeah.
promote. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. Sell yourself.
Sell yourself. That's a whole different show, D. That's not Coffee and Words.
That's Coffee and Others.
Oh my.
This is awesome, and I cannot wait to be on your show Saturday. So I think that's going to be a fun experience. I'm going to scarf down some sugary, milky cereal because I love it all. But where can we find you? Give me your socials. Where do you want people to track you down, stalk you, show you their tattoos?
I love tattoos. Bartee photo. On Instagram, on Facebook. You can email me at dbarteephoto@gmail.com. Please show me your tattoos. I love tattoos.
We should have the tattoo challenge. Everyone, send in your tattoos.
That is going to happen on Instagram.
I love it.
So Dee, you need to record a reel saying, "I love tattoos. Dean Kane and I shared tattoos. I want to see your tattoo." Remix this reel and show your tattoos.
I just recently learned how to do reels, Sarah, and I've been like blowing up the reels, and John's like, wow.
Yeah, you need to do that. That needs to be a thing. People can follow me at my website, johnpyka.com, JOHNPYKA.com, and it connects to all of the socials from there. You just click on the one you like the most. But follow the podcast, Back of the Cereal Box, at backofthecerealbox.fun.
Ooh, .fun. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. This has been so much fun.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Thanks for having
We
us.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the finished product because we were like all over the place.
And
I
that's on
know.
Saturday morning. So
It's just going to be the most erratic show I've ever had. But it'll be good. And I will talk to you guys soon. I will see you guys on Saturday when I get to come on your show. So enjoy the rest of your week.
You too.
We'll talk soon.
Good to talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.